Micheal Pope.
Good morning and good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. We are very excited. I'm excited as Micheal Pope, your host here, to just say, good morning. Happy Friday. And for some reason this morning, I don't know if I'm just crying. I could be. Or if my eyes are just tearing up for no logical reason. But excuse me as I pat the dampness in. We learned a long time ago, you don't wipe the tears from your skin, you pat it in. It has enzymes in it that are actually good for the skin. So anyway, you have joined another Life is a Sacred Journey, and this is the week that we have Ponderings. If you're new to Life is a Sacred Journey, go back and look at some of our other videos. You'll find some incredible conversations with individuals that are partnering with care partners, caregivers. There's folks that have written books about providing steps on, kind of what to put in your grab bag of ideas and contacts and resources. And the good thing about it, they're not just individuals from my neck of the neighborhood where I live in the Northern California. They are from all over. And so we can all benefit from their expertise, talent, and experiences. And so we've had a variety of guests. And so I invite you to go back and really look at those podcasts. And you may find a topic that actually is resonating with you right now. That's the one thing that happens. You find something that's just resonating with you in one moment, and it may not be resonating with you at the time that we drop our podcast. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. And again, hit the share button, and we do use the comment area. So please, if you're watching it live right now during it's drop time, or if you're watching it later on, please let us know who you are. If it's your first time, if you've been following Life is a Sacred Journey for forever and a day, then we also say thank you. Thank you for showing up and letting us know you're there. I wanted to, this is one of our ponderings. And so again, for those of you that are new to Life is a Sacred Journey, we have folks that come that we interview and have incredible conversations with. One of those individuals is Magda Kazmarska. Oh, I messed it up even when she was here. I apologize. But she came to visit us here at Life is a Sacred Journey. And if you go to Facebook, you'll see a couple of photographs of us just being so happy to see each other. And it was a great conversation that was supposed to only be a little bit of time. And 2.5, 3 hours later, we were still sitting here at the round table, just talking about all kinds of stuff. And Grace, who joined her from UCSF, just a wonderful collaboration of how can we serve the community better and how do we do it together. So Magda, thank you so much for coming to ASAB, and thank you for the warm hug. Thank you. I mean, go look at the pictures. I won't have to say anything else. Also, I don't know if she's out there watching right now, but I hope you are. Wanda Wallace, happy birthday. Happy, 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 happy birthday. Wanda Wallace is a RE/MAX Accord real estate person and a dream maker, because whenever you help somebody find their forever home or even short-term home, you are a dream maker. You become a part of other people's dreams. So it is her birthday. She also is a member of the board here at Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay. And she's also running for office in Solano County, wanting to really bring her thoughts and ideas and again, be a dream maker, a change maker. So happy birthday, Wanda Wallace. Thank you for the contributions that you're making in the community today. And thank you for the contributions that you have made in my life. And I hope your birthday is filled with such joy. Happy born day. Yay! All right. So This morning, in my moments, all of I do meditate, I pray, all of those kinds of things. And I got this little nudge about, and I've been thinking a lot about it over the last a long time, and I've been thinking about it, and it's about friendship. Like, what is it in this time? What is it? 21st century. What is it? How does it evolve? Is Facebook really a place where friendships are made and kept, and can you keep a friendship without actually talking to a person, but yet you text everybody back and forth all the time, and that feels like you're connected? Hmm. I've been just thinking about and pondering, so I thought I would bring that pondering, but I didn't do it without some research. I went to Psychology Today because, as you well know, and then in the car coming in, NPR is talking about a woman wrote a book and did some research on modern 21st century friendships and what they mean, and do we need technology to maintain them? And it appears that we do a little bit in this time. So let's talk a little bit. While I'm kind of getting myself comfortable and whatever. Again, welcome to Life is a Sacred Journey. We're so honored that you showed up this morning. Hit that share button, subscribe, become a follower, all of those things, because it's really good for us and good for, Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay. If when we grow our station and grow our reach, we have the opportunity to make funds, revenue, and so it's really important that you share. You will not be tapped for any of this, but it helps us to be recognized by sponsors and all of those kinds of things. I finally figured it out. All right, go figure. All right, so let's get started. Friendships. Right in the chat or the comment where they're all different. What are the things that you rely on or that you look for in friendships? What do you rely on in friendships, and what do you look for in friendships? Write that in the chat if you're willing to share, and then let's get started in this conversation, this pondering of what is really a friendship? What is it? Well, Rebecca Roach, who is I guess you would call her a correspondent, lifestyle correspondent. She did a study and she looked around to see what the myths and the reality were of modern relationships. And in doing so, she learned a couple of things. And I want to share those things with you. And this is just the only one article, and then we'll go into Psychology Today. That the pandemic actually changed the way we friendship, right? So people, not so much. I mean, I having traveled to Europe, people do this more in Europe, where they sit for long dinners and have long conversations. They sit outside, they go to the park, and they do it in a communal sort of experience. Single people do more together, and everybody is outside more. You know what I mean? In California, we have the luxury of that as well, that you'll see people outside and about doing things. But America is a little bit different. We have our clusters of friendship, and we kind of maintain those clusters. And then once we get to a certain age, we don't allow other people into the clusters, even though we're losing friends as we age in place. So I hope that makes sense. So we're losing friends as we age in place, but the reality is we're not bringing new friends in. And so since COVID, we are finding, research is showing, that people are lonely, 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 lonely. So what does that mean? In a time when it seems like we're communicating. On the onset of our podcast this morning, I talked about this monstrosity, which, by the way, it's crazy, right? That you text somebody and you can continually text back and forth, and it feels like relationship. It feels like a friendship, but it really kind of sort of isn't, unless there's more. And that's what Rebecca Roach found, that there are those that get stuck in this cycle of that the relationship is Facebook, a drop, it is Instagram, it is all of these other things. It plays a role in our modern day society, absolutely, because you can stay in touch. I have cousins all over the world and I love them and I love staying in touch with them, and we use social media to do that because of the time differences. There's no way that I would be able to catch up with one of my family members because right now that person is probably in bed and I just got up. So it's like you do have to use social media, but this is the key point that she pointed out. You can't use it as the primary source of communication. And that was like, woo, 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 for me, opened my eyes, because I have a friendship with somebody that I've known for a really long time. And since the pandemic, we've gotten so used to texting and whatever. And then what happens with that, it falls off. You get busy. I know for me, texting is not my primary way of communication, and I'd rather pick up the phone and call somebody. But then again, when you have time differences and different things, you're like, okay, is this a good time to call? I think it's 8 o'clock back there or over there, and you really don't know, or when you look it up, then it's not a good time because maybe that person's at work or whatever. And what happens over a period of time, no matter what, the relationship, there's a division that happens, and it's not something bad or good. I'm not judging it from that perspective. But then what happens is you communicate less, because you do need, it was interesting, you do need that verbal and the voice. Now, remember during the pandemic, we said, oh, we can't see a person's mouth. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I was surprised to see that it was also about the sound of a person's voice. And I know this because, now getting to know my granddaughter and realizing that because I'm not with her every single day, the recognition of my voice is the first thing that she responds to, versus when she physically sees me. She recognizes me, but it's my voice and the way that I always greet her. I have a little thing that I say whenever we greet each other eye to eye. So that's what I'm saying. So yes, writing, keeping in touch. People used to write letters, and back in the formation of the United States of America, the United States Postal Service was a wagon with horse. So people stayed in touch and kept fires burning. And then she talked about that those kinds of relationships where it's just about texting and calling, because of distance back in the day, that we didn't have cell phones, those relationships actually grew, because that's where that comment, absence makes the heart grow fonder, that's where that came from. But in the modern day, it does not. It does not. That the lack of that person, that person's absence in your life. Now, if you are a person that is secluded to the home, that's where all of these romance scams come through. Again, from this research, if you're secluded to your home, you're dealing with chemical depression and all of those kinds of things. You're more likely to be engaged in a relationship where it is a scam, or where you will be ghost, which trust me, I figured it out. Like I watched this other show and the guy said, I speak the English language. That's how I can figure out some of this slang. But that you get ghost. And I know that's happened in my life, where there's been a person in my life and I thought the relationship, the friendship was something that we were fostering together. And then all of a sudden the person just dropped off the face of the planet. And I was like, so did I offend you? Did something go wrong? You just start questioning yourself and then questioning the friendship. And then what happens with it this is the thing that happens with it. This was such a great topic to read about. What happens with it then you begin to, the psychology part of it is that people then begin to think it's their fault because we're overthinking what we might have done when it might be, and it very likely is, the other person. And they just don't have the emotional intelligence or the courage, whatever it is, I don't know what it is, to pick up a phone or to text the person and say, you know what, this happened and I'm feeling this way, and all of these kinds of things. So the deeper, this is the Psychology Today article now, the deeper relationships are not as evident as they were in the past, before, actually pre-pandemic, and then a little bit before the pandemic as well, because we've been slowly moving into this sort of online relationship, online conversation. And it's great, like I said, to be able to get online with my family. They get online on Zoom a particular day of the week, and I haven't been able to join them because that's one of my busiest days of the week. But at the end of the day, I know that if I can pop in, I'll get to say, hey, we'll do the Walton thing, but we keep our family engaged by using actually Facebook. That's how we know what's going on with each other. We may not, not all of us put our children's photographs on there, but we know them. We pray for them. So Facebook has become a pivotal part of our communication. Instagram, all of those. So again, online communication is not bad. It's how you use it and whether or not it is the sole basis. See, that's the thing. This is all three articles. The sole basis of the communication. If it is, you have to identify the reason why it is. And sometimes it's the individual, like you don't want the commitment of face to face, and because it does change things. It does change things, that face to face, in person relationship. You have to lean in. You have to be a good listener. That was the primary thing. And I'll read something to you about people needing to listen in friendships. You need to listen in the friendship, but when somebody is doing it all online, you can't hear it. And the words that are written, you begin to put your own tonnage to them, your own thinking to them, and they may clearly take you down a road where you're depressed and having anxiety. So again, from Psychology Today, that is why we're seeing that people have way more contacts with other individuals. They can communicate at the drop of a finger, but the relationships, many of them, not all, because we all have a really good friend. I have one of my bestest buddies in the whole wide world. I've known her for over 30 something, almost 40 years. And so the reality is, and actually I've got a couple of friends like that, where those are my do or dies. Those are my road dogs. Those are the ones that you pick up the phone when I asked you to write in the chat what part of, what is important to you around friendship. Though that's what's important to me. Loyalty. Loyalty, hands down loyalty. And so the friends that are really close to me, they are loyal to me and I to them. They know that they could pick up the phone at any hour, day or night, and it might take me a minute if it's a certain hour, day or night to get back to them, but I'm gonna drop everything to be with them. I'm gonna drop everything to listen. I'm going to drop everything to make sure that they know I am their friend. I'm not just somebody that has a superficial relationship, and that's why I don't have many of them. I know a lot of people, but when we're talking about friendship, it's a small circle because I give in my friendships. I give of my spirit. I give of my soul to people, and I've learned in the last 2 decades of my life that sometimes that wasn't given back to me, and what I thought was a loyal friendship really wasn't. So I'm very careful and protective of my heart and my spirit now. And then, like Maya Angelou said, that was like the best lesson that I ever got in life. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Simple as that. Just believe them. And I'm a fixer. See, this is my challenge, my issue, is that I'm a fixer. And so I'm always thinking, oh, well, we can talk it out. I can work with this person. I want them in my life. And so I'm going to do everything I can. It's like, oh. um, and I have learned that that's fine and good in some circumstances, but in others, it could be really be detrimental to you, to me, to my spirit, to my ability to breathe, to my ability to live a life that's filled with peace. So friendship is one of those things that we're weighing very differently in the 21st century, and then 2024. So the other things that I thought was interesting, because I live in the world of cognition, that they were saying in the future, as we grow, we're growing in cognitive capacity. Every generation is, meaning having the ability to grasp concepts and things, that's inevitable. That's not sci-fi, that's real. And so as we build our cognitive elasticity, we have the opportunity in future generations to have closer friendships than we've had in the past and even now. I thought that was interesting because close friendships require work and energy. That's why my circle is smaller than it was when I was in my 20s. You're my friend. You're my friend. Hello, friend. Everybody was my friend. And now when you realize that friendship means being engaged and involved, you gotta make time, and it takes energy. Like right now, I have a friendship that I've neglected in the last couple of weeks due to my work schedule. Well, right now I'm thinking, okay, what can I do this weekend? Can I go over and say hey ho, he hoo? It's intentional. That's different. Close friendships are intentional, and that's where listening takes place. That's where reaching out, that's where leaning in takes place. And right now, as we are as a humanity, it takes a lot of cognition and time. That is why in other countries, you will see people spend more time together, right? They're spending more time because they don't have the same work schedule, the siestas, the long lunches, all of that. That's not an American construct. So we want to do everything within a certain amount, even the way they roll tables in restaurants. It's done. They want you to get the heck out of there so they can put more people. Now, many restaurants know that if it's a high-end restaurant and so forth, you're going to be there for a minute because you're going to eat more than one thing, and it comes in. But I'm telling you, in some of these smaller venues, they don't expect you to stay there chewing the fat for very long. They want you to actually eat your meal, have a little dialogue and conversation, whatever the layers of the food is, and then they want you to get rolling. So it's a really very different. Pandemic changed that because we began to eat outside. I mean, it's so amazing when you do this homework and you begin to pull all the pieces of the puzzle together. You begin to see it. It makes total sense to you because it took more time. Everything took more time, and we had more time because we were working from home. That's amazing, right? So, and we learned more about each other. That there were some divorces that happened because of the pandemic, because people, or separations for people that were living together, or even people that were dating. There were new relationships that were started where people connected online through new online mechanisms, or people who had never been online before used it to communicate and became people got married too. So all of those things, when you think about World War II, where the baby boomers came out of all of that, and so you think about we're going to be looking at birth rates now to see how the pandemic affected that. We know how it affected the death rate, but now we're going to be looking at that. So there's this humanity thing is about communication. Friendship is about communication. Friendship is also something that is good for your health. Okay, so I'm going to go into the Psychology Today article a little bit before we run out of time. And this is where family, excuse me, family is important too. But friendship, long-term, lingering friendships, lingering in the friendship and interactions provide an opportunity for you to deepen relationship. And it's also helping you to grow your empathy, your sympathy, all of those things that are about emotional intelligence and build up the pyramid of emotional intelligence. Friendship has that for you. There are people in my life, friends that I have, that they're the ones that when I'm analyzing something and trying to figure out whether I'm right or wrong, I'll take it to them, and I know slam dunk they'll be like, girlfriend, you done missed the boat on that one, or they'll say, girlfriend, you're right, or girlfriend, a little bit of a modification, or girl, without telling me anything, and it's in the sound of how girl is said to me. So I have those friends, and they mean a great deal to me, and they keep me honest about my own perceptions and how I view things. Great, deep relationships. We want to linger to cultivate time affluence, which is the perception of having ample time to do something. You'll have to change your paradigm on time, because, and I'm raising my hand so you know that I know what I'm talking about, because I am the worst with this. The worst. It's real easy for me to give Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay 252 hours of my life within a 14-day period. But it's hard to give it to myself. It's hard to give it to other things. And so what I'm doing in my life right now is flipping it. I like that. Whoop. I'm flipping it, because if I don't, I will burn out on the thing that I love, that gives me a great deal of purpose, and as well as I'm at the season of my life where relationships, that may be the last moment that I'm in that relationship. That may be the last second that I'm in that relationship. I was talking to a good sister friend of mine last night, and she told me, she's one of these friends that nudges me. She thinks that I'm thinking about all these things because of my granddaughter. And this morning I pondered that in my meditation, and I think she's right. This new life, 7-month-old life, 6-month-old, 6.5 months, 7-month, whatever, in between that. My mortality, I know, I've always known that I could die at any moment, because any of us could, right? That's just that, this stuff is very fragile. Stuff attacks it and you can die. Okay, we'll take that off the plate. But more than ever, one, I'm aging in place, which is a great thing. But the closer I get to this age or that age, I realize I could really be living my last moment. And I'm not sharing that with you from a morbid perspective, but what it means is you need to give time, or I need to give time and energy to things that are very important to me, as if it might be the last time that I get to do it, or the last time that I get to say it, or the last time. And so I've been on this incredible quest to make sure that people know how I feel about them. Like every moment, whoever I'm with, it's like, I love you, I care about you, I want you to know how much you've meant to me, and whereas, you know, I just think it's important to say that. And some people might get sick of it, but you know what? It's not my problem. I'm gonna lean in and I'm just gonna, give them love, give them kindness. So lingering in that time affluence place and turning your time around, and let's do that again, and flipping it, you have the opportunity to have a rich life with friends and family. And work is important because I love what I do. I'm living out my purpose. I know the universe created me just for this space and time. And it's evolved and it's changing and it's ever changing. We had a board meeting last night. It's changing again. But it's okay. It's okay. Lingering also means intimacy in the mundane. Intimacy is a beautiful word. I love that word because I think we got to a place where we got over sexed out, and we started talking about it from all these different perspectives and the images and the all how you can make it vulgar when it's a beautiful interaction between two people. But intimacy is something very different. They talked about intimacy as a closeness that comes from doing prosaic together, so that you're in that moment with people, you're having shared experiences with where laughter comes up, where contemplation comes up, pondering, deep conversations, hugs, intimacy, holding a person's hand. My daughter and I were together the other night. Great, great, great. She just popped, it was right on time. Like I said, I've been going through a lot lately. Thank you to all of you who have sent me incredible notes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just been a really hard six months or so. And I'm working through it because I don't really understand where it's coming from, but inside. That's why when I give the suicide hotline number and speak to people, I know what I'm talking about. Because inside, for the last 6 months, I've been screaming, 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 screaming. I can hear myself screaming right now inside. But every day I just kind of keep it going, keep it going, keep it moving, woo, woo, woo. So I'm not suicidal, by the way. But I am in a state of pondering almost every aspect of my life. And as I said, 6 months or so, and I think a lot of it is triggered by wanting to live a very long life so I can see my granddaughter and my daughter and my son and my daughter-in-law. I just want to see them in their abundance. And yeah, so you start to go in weird places when you're thinking about longevity in life, and I'm going to tell you, by working here, that really pops up for me, because there are people that we care for that I am the same age of as, or they are younger than me, and so that my mortality is in my face all the time. So, but I have great, incredible, loving friendships that fuel me, that lift me up, that when I'm down, I pick up the phone and somebody says, "Girl, let's go." Girl, let's do this. Um, Friendship is important to our well-being. And Valentine's Day is a day that, when those that we've turned it, and we're starting to turn it to friendsgiving, friends giving, or gal giving, or whatever. Because when somebody doesn't have a partner, it's really, you feel like Valentine's Day isn't why bother? It's like, yeah. And you see people walking around with flowers and things like that. Well, as I told you last Valentine's Day, get your own flowers, buy your own flowers. If nobody will buy you flowers, buy your flowers. You know what? That's the one thing that I have done my whole entire life. Even when I haven't had money, I've always purchased flowers. because I love them and they look great on a table or whatever. So go buy yourself your own flowers and then congratulate yourself for doing that. You know why? Because you showed yourself the love that you want. You showed yourself that level of kindness and generosity of spirit that you want from someone else. Get used to that feeling so that you're not depending on someone else to give it to you, that you know that you can do it yourself. So important. So important. All right. Let me give you these tips real quick. I think there's 4 of them. Okay, you ready? Got a pen? Got a paper? Keep a memory. Keep it in your memory. Put time with friends on your calendar. Thank you, Rob Schallenberger, Steve Schallenberger, Do What Matters Most. They taught me that. They made me put all my roles down and then put down how much time I was giving to them and making sure that my family got more than the other things that I thought were important. I think that happened 6 years ago. So 6 years, maybe long, who cares? But it happened. And calendaring time for your family is important. Do that. You put everything else on the calendar. Make sure you calendar your family and friends. So put time with friends and family on your calendar so you can mentally shift to seeing time with friends as a priority. So that's what it's all about. You're shifting it so that it becomes a priority. All right. Next thing, give your friend your undivided attention. That means putting away your phone. As one study found, the mere putting away your phone and being engaged in a long-term conversation with someone, leaning in, I love that terminology, is what people need now to maintain well-grounded, connected friendships. When the inclination to leave arises, consider lingering instead. So whenever you're with a friend, my new thing right now that I wrote on my 2024 is I'm going to ask people, do you have time to go for a walk? One, it'll be healthy for us. And it's, healthy. It can be 30 minutes. It can be an hour. It can even be 15 minutes. So I'm going to add that in when people come to visit me here at ASAB. I'm going to say, can you bring your sneakers so we can add a 15-minute walk around. And the other thing that was said, because it was talking about cognition as well, that now people are actually having meetings that way where, Wall Street, New York, they're going to Central Park and walking and having meetings, especially one-on-one meetings, so that they can have conversations that, one, are not overheard if it's about performance and things of that nature. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. Go for a walk with your friend. Ask to hang out after you hang out. I love that. Maybe you and your friend had dinner together and then you ask them to come over and watch a movie, or let's go to a movie, or right then and there, let's schedule another time together. Or like one of my friends now, we're going to see each other once a month. We're going to make sure we calendar that once a month to see each other. And we actually said sometimes it's going to take us doing a Zoom meeting, but once a month, we're going to connect some kind of way. So that we can maintain our friendship. We went a couple of years without even talking to each other, and the relationship, nothing happened, by the way. Nothing happened. It's just life happened. And the relationship means more to us than that. So this is my last, I'm going to read this to you. This is a book. I don't know if you remember when Starbucks used to have these incredible gifts and books and things that they used to sell in their coffee shop. Well, one of them was the book, It's One. Excuse me, how many people does it take to make a difference? And it's one. But in friendships, it's about good listening and not talking and having yourself heard. It's about being a good listener. So what people need is a good listening to. Henry David Thoreau mused that one of the greatest miracles would be if we could actually look through each other's eyes for an instant. Ironically, the best way to see the world through each other's eyes may be with each other's ears. By listening, really listening to each other, we see each other. Listening is not just etiquette, it is a way of loving, honoring, and respecting. It's a way of bonding and connecting. It's a way of sharing ourselves and our humanity. Ways to listen with compassion, understanding, and intention. Here we go. There's that word, intentionality. Be present and give the speaker your full attention. Show interest. Be generous. Encourage the speaker by nodding, smiling, letting them know, leaning in. Listen with your heart as well as your ears. Listen with your heart as well as your ears. I'm not really sure where my heart is, but we'll talk about that. I know it's here, but sometimes I hear it beating up way up here where I learn how to pledge allegiance to the flag when I think it's right here. So anyway, that's just a pondering. Listen with your heart, people, as well as your ears. Make it safe for the speaker to share his or her thoughts and feelings. Make it safe for people to be critical. Make it safe for people to say something that doesn't resonate with you. Make it safe. You know, this is the chaos of my life right now, that people are so used to being in unsafe environments that the assumption is made that everything they say, everybody is going to be against them, or that a person doesn't agree with them. Or even if the person does disagree with them, they take it so personal that it's not the thought that the person is disagreeing. They think it's them. They take it personal. And that is killing us in every work environment, every place where we commune to make decisions. It's just like, it's not about you. It's not that personal, I don't think. And if it is, then that's something that's a different kind of communication. And we need to be careful about, those toxic people in those kind of situations. We need to cocoon ourselves like the monarch butterfly. But at the end of the day, everything that somebody says, because it's not your thought or it's against the thought that you may be having, sometimes that you haven't even expressed, doesn't mean that the person hates you or doesn't like you. And even if they do, I'm learning, so what? I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't like me. I like me. And our topic this morning was friendship, and I have friends that like me. And so let that stuff go, people, because people throw baggage on you and you just grab that handle and you stick it here and then grab that handle and stick it here. And before you know it, you're doing this and everybody else is walking around cheerful and happy-go-lucky. They don't deserve to take that from you. So don't take their baggage. Listen to every word without interrupting and wishing to speak yourself. I have a hard time with that sometimes, so I have to work on that. When the speaker has finished, acknowledge what you have heard without judging or correcting. Without judging or correcting. Even if you don't judge or correct out loud, stop judging and correcting in your head and in your heart, because that's just as damaging to another individual as if you had said it out loud. The other is, the last sentence here is by Emily Dickinson, and it reads this way. I felt it shelter to speak to you. Ooh, I felt it shelter to speak to you. We're going to end on that. I felt it shelter to speak with you this morning. I hope that you will go out and be a shelter for someone else so that they can speak to you and honestly share their heart and their spirit with you. Something's in my eye. I know, did you see me do that double blink? Because it was like, oh, what is that? But I love that. I felt it shelter to speak to you. That's going to be my new way to end conversations. I invite you to join me to do that in your conversations. And if you didn't feel shelter, then examine why. Maybe it's time to let that friendship go. Maybe it's time to lean in and communicate and listen so that you don't harm them and they don't harm you. All right, friends, thank you for coming to Life is a Sacred Journey this Friday morning. I am Michelle Pope, and I love coming here every Friday and sharing ponderings or having wonderful conversations with these incredible human beings across the planet. I know that friendship is possible. I know that, excuse me, that love and forgiveness and all those things are possible. You know why? Because I've done them all myself. They're hard. It's hard work. It really is hard work because the world is a ugly, sad place right now. We've got so much going on. But, we can be the light. We can be the light. And so I pray that you go out into the world today and this weekend, be safe wherever you are. There's weather happening all over our continent and all over the world. So be careful if you're out in the rain, the snow, or whatever may be happening for you. If you have a moment to get out and really enjoy the fresh air, go hug a tree. They love being hugged, and pet a cat or pet a dog. And if you can foster, this is something that's happening. I don't know if it's happening where you are, but do your homework and find out. The shelters are full. This is something that I'm going to bring some shelter people on just to explain to you. When you adopt a dog, it could be a 19, 20-year experience, okay? So don't adopt the dog if you're not willing to care for that dog for its entire life. The shelters are full right now, and they do not, some of them are no-kill shelters, and they're getting full, and the animals are starting to turn their backs, and all kinds of really sad things that happen to animals that are in cages and shelter spaces for a long period of time. If you can foster 1, 2 dogs, if you have the time to do that, the space to do that, the patience to do that, the love to do that, please do that. Contact your local shelter in your neighborhood. Give a dog a home, give a cat a home, give an animal that's been either rejected by a human. Folks, we got to stop doing that. Just stop. We'll do a show on it. But I hope I nudge your heart a little bit. They need your help. And all my babies are rescues. And so I know how fantastically happy they are when they are rescued. You do too. Whenever you've been rescued by a friend, when you heard their voice on the other line, or you heard their voice coming up your walkway to say, "Hey, I came to check you out, see what's going on," you know the joy that gave you. So go out and be a friend to somebody, or a tree, or a dog or a cat, and be a friend to yourself. That's just as important. If you are out there right now and you are feeling depressed and unhappy, scared, lonely, 988 is a number that you can call. There are people on the other line that will support you, get you resources, and just be a listening ear. They will listen deeply with understanding, respect, and love. Also, in the state of California, I just learned that this group might be losing their funding for the crisis line. It's the California Youth Crisis Line, 24/7 crisis counseling, anonymous, safe, and confidential. They connect people to services, and they're for youth and families. If you can help them so that this wonderful resource that has helped a lot of young people out on the street, a lot of emancipated foster children, it's calyouth.org, that slash thing, CYCL. I'll say it again, calyouth.org. Is it a slash? I don't know. CYCL, all caps, CYCL. And their phone number is 1-800-843-5200. And I will see if I can get their executive director on Life is a Sacred Journey, because we need to save that crisis line. It is very important. Join me if you can If you can't, of course, no hard pressure, but they're saving lives. Young, emancipated foster kids really get a lot of growth and help um, through mentorship and um, advocacy and ambassadorship programs, and then this incredible hotline. So, all right. Whew. It's been another Friday morning, and we've been together for about 45 minutes, so almost an hour. Wow. This was a longer pondering than I had anticipated, but it was a great topic, and it was a great time being with you. I hope that you have a great weekend and be safe wherever you are and be at peace. Take a deep breath now, my friends. Have a good weekend.